you guys, and welcome back to the podcast.
We are the KarWells.
I'm Emily.
And I'm Sarah, and we are, as you know, Airbnb interior designers and investors. Welcome back, everyone, to our podcast, and welcome to the new year. These are the first podcasts we are recording in the new year, and let me tell you, Emily and I were more than excited to close the 2022 chapter and open up a 2023 chapter. So welcome back. I hope all of you are feeling as refreshed and re-inspired as we are. Today we have a guest, Charli, and I'm going to kick it over to Emily to introduce her to y'all.
Yes, so we learned about Charli last year, and based on what I've seen of Charli's background, she gives a lot of inspiration around financial freedom and how you can reach financial freedom through short-term rentals. So Charli, correct me if I'm wrong, but you are very into leveraging your credit and making sure that your credit is where it needs to be able to invest in short-term rentals. So I'll let you kind of expand on your background a little bit.
Yeah, so thank you, ladies, so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Anytime someone gives me an opportunity to get on their platform, I'm always honored and I'm grateful for it. So I want to thank you, ladies, for even giving me an opportunity to speak to your audience. So I appreciate it. My background before all of this, I was a police officer for 10 years. A lot of horror stories with that, but that's my former life. From there, actually other couple businesses, but short-term rental has to be the one that really has set the bar for me is from an entrepreneur standpoint to creating passive income and just really, being the trajectory to getting into real estate. I had to leverage my credit because I didn't have money to get started, even after being a police officer. So that was my method of getting in. So that's what I tell my audience, and that's how I teach my students. Like, you don't have the money, use the bank's money, and you let them do it, and then you can just use whatever profits you make to pay the bank back. It gives you a little bit more time. So pretty much been in the space for almost going on 5 years. I love short-term rentals. I love everything about it. I do not like dealing with traditional tenants at all, under no circumstances. I would just rather you come, be on vacation, you're looking for a short stay, and yeah, let's just have a good time and you can leave. I don't want to deal with somebody for a year. Like,
Amen.
I do not blame you at all for that. Well, first of all, thank you for your service being in law enforcement. I'm sure that is an incredibly hard job to be in. So good for you, and thank you for doing that. And you know already that we start every episode with an Airbnb horror story. So as a host for at least 4 or 5 years, I'm sure you have a few. So take it away.
Yeah. Well, one story, oh my God. So first of all, let me just get a disclaimer here. I was sneaking with this particular unit when I was doing Airbnb. So let me just get a disclaimer. So this was just me trying to get my feet wet in the game. So I was sneaking and everything was going good. We literally had it down to a damn science. Can I say damn on here? I don't know.
Oh, you can say whatever you want.
Okay. So we had everything down to a science. Nobody was getting caught. Like, we had it all worked out. It was scientific. Then the pandemic hit. We let this guy, the guy and the girlfriend, he played for the G League, but they were going to come to Miami for a little bit because I guess he wanted to practice in Miami because everywhere was shut down. They stay, everything is going good the first week. Second week, they get into a big fight and he breaks her nose inside the unit. Yeah.
Ooh.
And so, yeah, but then she ended up still staying with him. That was the crazy ass part after that. But they get into a fight with not only, but she kind of clocked him over the head. It was crazy. Then here comes the property manager calling me like, "Oh my God, these people are Airbnb. They said you let them stay Airbnb." It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't know what the hell to say. I'm like, Airbnb? So yeah, ended up getting evicted and all that good stuff from that place. If you Google my name, you'll see the eviction out there. So yeah, that's like that's the worst one. That was yeah. Oh my God, they literally messed my whole business up. But now I don't sneak anymore. I give full disclosure. But that's just how I got started. It is what it is.
Yeah. And I'm glad you bring it up, honestly, because one, I've heard stories similar to that, had stories happen to me so similar to that, like, it's one of those things that people don't like to talk about, how a lot of us, started in a really scrappy way. whether we knew, like, I didn't even know I was doing something illegal. I was just like, it's my
Yeah,
apartment. Like, why couldn't I rent it out?
exactly.
Yeah, and then, basically the same exact situation that you're talking about, not in my unit, but somebody else who is Airbnb-ing illegally in the same complex as me, had the
Uh-huh.
exact same scenario where it was like a domestic abuse situation, and they pulled the rug on all of us. They were like, "Get out."
Yeah,
Everyone
you know
out.
the crazy part? I always tell people it's not you that will get you caught. It's the guest that's going to get you caught. You and the crazy part is Airbnb tenants are the best tenants. Sometimes you get a couple of bad apples, but then you have the property managers and you have the leasing agents that feel like they're going to get an award for finding out who's doing illegal Airbnbs. So now you have to deal with that. Like, oh my, we even had a guy that he was like the leasing agent in the building that he would literally stop people and be like, if they had a suitcase, he'd be like, are you here for Airbnb? What unit are you here for? It was just getting too much. That's why I don't sneak anymore because it was like, it's not even worth it. I feel like, I tell people this all the time. I felt like I was selling cocaine and all I was doing was just trying to do damn Airbnb. Like, that's
They
it.
It really is. I swear sometimes these leasing agents are like at home on their off time, searching through Airbnb, trying to see if the photos look like the apartments where they work. Sometimes.
Exactly, like doing surprise inspections. Like, what the hell? Just let me make my money in peace. I'm not bothering nobody. Just get your rent and go. But it's just, it is. It's the nature of the beast. So they like how Khaled always says, DJ Khaled, they don't want you to be great. So you got to figure it out here. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
pretty much. Yeah, I
Learning
don't.
lessons along the way.
Yes, I do not want to relive those days. Lord, the way my heart dropped at 2 in the morning when that property manager called me, it was terrible.
The
It was terrible.
anxiety alone. I do have
Yeah.
one question though, like, after you got evicted, did that eviction harm your ability to scale afterward?
Didn't. That's the crazy part. It did not. I still have like 20 units. So
Good
it
for
didn't
you.
stop anything. And then I also go through a lot of private landlords and in some of those instances they don't do as diligent like these deep background checks. But I'm very upfront because this is a business for me. This is my livelihood. So I don't hold anything back. If I get questioned about it, I'll just tell them this is what happened. It is what it is.
Right.
So I haven't had any issues though.
Right. And I mean, you make a good point there too. It's like this
Yeah.
this game is such a relationship game that if you can be upfront and honest and like portray that you
Yeah.
are someone who, is a reliable tenant, then a lot of times you can,
Yeah.
have things that may be a little bit shady on your record where people will overlook.
Yeah. And it also goes back to, the what leveraging too, because I always try to show a landlord what I can do for them, how this is going to benefit you. Like I know what I'm going to get out of it, but what are you going to get out of it? So if you can do that with landlords and you can take care of their properties and just build that credibility, then you should be okay out here. So and that's how I try to roll. And then plus me also with a former law enforcement background, that doesn't really hurt me. It kind of it
Yeah.
helps a lot.
Yeah, it's an interesting point that you make about going with private landlords because we've kind of talked about that a little bit too. Because we started running into in the Dallas market, these big complexes did not want Airbnb people in there, but a lot of private
Yeah,
landlords can't get renters. So if you can have a conversation with them directly, they're more apt to tell you yes than one of the big buildings that the
exactly.
owner is not even remotely involved in the property at this point.
Yeah, they're just looking for a good tenant. They just want to know that they don't have to worry about the lease payment being behind. They don't have to worry about, someone damaging their property. And so, me personally, I prefer to go the private landlord way, even though in Houston, I do deal with an apartment complex, but sometimes also dealing with the complexes come with a lot of rules and regulations and scrutiny that it's just a headache sometimes that I don't even like to deal with. So, I just prefer, even though with the private landlords, it's more money in the Miami market, it's more money out of pocket up front. You can save more money going through an apartment building as far as your upfront costs, but it's for me personally, it's less headaches.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I totally
worth that
agree.
upfront investment.
Yeah, yeah. It's like you want the money up front and you want the headaches in the back end. I guess you gotta weigh out which ones. And then the thing is, with apartment complexes, we've called hundreds. When I say hundreds, hundreds, and it's always no. Nobody can even really give you an answer why they don't want to do it. It's just no, we don't accept Airbnb because I guess Airbnb has this negative connotation when it comes to it, but they don't realize that this is a real business and all businesses has its pros and cons. So that's just the nature of the beast out
Yeah.
here.
And being
Yeah.
willing to deal with the headache up front, it depends on what stage of your journey you're at. If you're at the very beginning, some people are willing to deal with that headache so they don't have to front that upfront cash. But as you get
Yeah.
more into your real estate investing, you're like, oh no, I want to put the money up front because I don't want
Yeah.
that headache anymore.
Exactly. I don't want to deal with, oh, you have to do this and your guests can't do that. And it's just a lot. So, and sometimes with private landlords, you get a little bit free reign with the property because they're not there. They're not actively involved like that. And you're essentially acting as their property manager and their tenant. So it's a win-win for a private landlord.
I know. I couldn't agree more. I just feel like the argument towards landlords on our side makes so much more sense than any argument that they've got against us, like not wanting to Airbnb. So if you can get a landlord that's willing to hear you out, I'm like, if they're
Yeah.
actually listening, they should say yes, right? It's like a
Yeah, I
great
don't
deal.
understand why they wouldn't say yes. Like when I listen to a podcast and I look at forums and people are like, oh, no, absolutely no Airbnb. I would never let a tenant. I'm like, but why not? If you're a good business person, you should only just care about your occupancy rate and you making money. Like, why
Right.
do you care? It's not like I'm selling drugs in your unit. I'm not running a prostitution ring. Like, God damn it. I'm just trying to make you some money and make me some money.
Yeah.
So but the thing is, you're going to get no's. You navigate through the no's, and eventually you will get your yes. You just got to
Yeah.
keep pushing.
Absolutely. Well, to kind of shift gears, I mean, why don't you tell our
Mhm.
listeners like what you do now in the coaching world as well? Because you definitely have evolved over time as this business has grown. So let's kind of hear where you're at now.
Well, pretty much with the coaching, I try to take all of my mistakes and everything, like the broken nose and the sneaking, and tell you what not to do. Like, this is, yeah, we always talk about the fairy tale of short term rentals, but let's talk about the nightmares that come along with it. And I just try to provide my students like a blueprint of things that they should not do, ways that they can get around certain things that, because I probably have run into every single obstacle that you could think of when it comes to short term rentals. Because when you start out sneaking, to be honest, I feel like if you have never snuck and done an Airbnb, then you are not the best host.
Amen.
I'm just being honest here. Somebody may disagree, but because the thing is that you get to go through every scenario. If you don't know what it feels like to throw people in the back of your car and their suitcases and drive them up the garage to sneak them in an apartment, then what can you tell me? You only know the good stuff. Tell me the bad stuff. So I feel like, if you've had some hiccups along the way, I try to use every negative thing that has happened and use it as teachable moments for my students. Not so much always about the money, but like, listen, these are things and obstacles that you're going to encounter. And a lot of my students are very young. I have students as young as 18 years old who I've taught them. They did my 5-day challenge and pretty much out here with 1 and 2 units remotely in doing this. So this is it's an easy game to get into, but things I tell people, it's not about getting into short-term rentals. It's about running it as an operation and scaling it. That's when it starts to get tough.
Yeah.
Anybody know how to get 1 unit? Can you run 20? Can you run 10, 5? That's when you're going to really start saying, what the hell am I doing? Like, what do I get
Yeah.
myself into?
Someone
So,
Absolutely.
the other day, I heard someone say, short-term rentals are not hard, it's just hard work. And I was
yes.
like, that's it. Like the process really is simple, but that doesn't mean
Mhm.
that it's easy, you know? It's like,
Yeah, but see, we have romanticized short term rentals so much that everybody feels like they can do it. It's so, oh my God, I don't have to deal with any units and everything's passive and I got my cleaning service. But nobody talks about when the guest has broken 2 beds or they come in. We had someone steal all of our pots and pans out of a unit. Like stuff like that you have to mitigate through. So, or you was one day late paying the rent and the apartment community put a damn vacate notice on the door and there was a tenant inside the unit. There was a guest there staying there when they put the notice on the door. So it's like those are things that you have to deal with. You put out a lot of fires in this. Like I found there's so many fires to be put out. It's like every day I wake up, it's like, okay, what's the new fire? I anticipate what do we have to deal with today. And so
yeah,
if you can do that and be a problem solver, you'll do amazing. You'll do
yeah.
fine.
That's such a good point too. Like I remember at the beginning I just felt like I was getting like yanked around, you know? Like I wasn't anticipating so many fires. And now whenever a fire happens, like literally I have to like tell myself, like speak it out loud, Sarah, calm down and be solution oriented. Like do not panic. Like we do not have room for anxiety right now. Like the best solution's not gonna come then. Like please calm down so we can find a solution.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Like I at one point in the beginning, I felt like I needed medication. I was like, I cannot live my life like this. Like every day was, especially during the sneaking period. It was like,
Yeah.
oh my god, I'm gonna need a psychiatrist. This is crazy. My anxiety was through the roof. But now I'm like you, Sarah, where it's like, okay, how do we deal with this? What is the solution? Okay, everybody just calm down. Like
Yeah.
so from there, it makes it much easier because if you panic you can't think straight. You can't really come up with the best answer. And I have I have assistants in the Philippines that they handle like a lot of my calls and things like that. And they don't like confrontation. So if a guest is angry or something, I have to tell them, listen, it's okay. Just work it the best way you can, but we will not panic. We cannot work like that. Everything is about the solution. So that's pretty much the best way you can handle it
Yeah.
because you are going to have problems. Trust me,
Yeah.
and a lot of
And like as
them.
time goes on, I just feel like my capacity for bullshit just gets like bigger and bigger and bigger, and you like have to go through that, you know?
It gets to the point you just wake up and be like, I don't even give a damn today. Whatever. Like, whatever. Oh, you didn't have a broom last night. You ran out of towels. Okay. But give them a discount. Like, it's like you just try to mitigate it as much as possible. It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pressure. You're essentially running a hospitality business on top of running a real estate business. Like, it's two businesses in one. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand.
Yeah, 100%. Couldn't agree more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you do a lot of arbitrage based on like talking about units and things like that. Are you in single family or glamping at all? And if you are just in arbitrage, is there a reason why you choose that investment strategy?
Right now, I'm only in arbitrage, and I also do property management. I am looking into doing single families now. Glamping, I haven't really checked into. I really like glamping. I think it's a really cute and nichey. I really like that whole glamping concept. But in Miami, I haven't even really seen any glamping locations. I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe look into that. But yeah, for me, it's arbitrage. The reason being is because the entry barrier to get in is so much cheaper. Like I'm all about how can I get in fast and save as much money as possible. However, some people may look at it differently where they like, I prefer to buy where I can have equity in my home and then I can get a cheaper. And the price of rent is so damn high right now. Let me tell you, in the beginning, arbitrage was much easier because the rent prices wasn't as high. But it's like now rental prices have really increased. So you have to be very careful, even with arbitrage, and make sure that you do your due diligence with your numbers because and then I know you guys have probably heard about it or seen it with some of the markets, there's some oversaturation. And so a lot of people are underpricing, and now you have high rent to deal with. So a lot of hosts are now turning to midterm and long-term rentals. I've even had to do it with some of my properties because the rent is just not making sense for the prices. And so many people getting into the market has oversaturated some markets that you have to like pivot and transition to keep up with what's going on right now. So, but I prefer the arbitrage model, but I do want the damn price of rent to go down.
Yeah.
Yeah. And your
So,
strategy might be a lot based on like why people are coming to Miami, right? Like a lot of
Mhm.
people are coming for a weekend. It's usually like maybe small groups of girls, guys, whatever. So the reason for them coming there, they might not need a big house because they're just coming
Yeah.
crashing at your place and then they're probably going to the bar most of the
But
time.
but you do have a lot of D-list celebrities. Everybody wants to be a celebrity in Miami. So you people want that lifestyle. One thing about Miami is a lifestyle city, opposed to Houston, where what I did learn getting in different markets, a place like Houston, somebody really wants a home away from home. Like they're really going to be cooking. They're going to be in the house. They're not going nowhere. They're like, where is the Keurig? Where is the damn pot? In Miami, nobody cares about a pot and a pan. The club is open 24/7. Like, so different markets dictate different things. So you have to know what demographic that you're pushing. But a house can work. But you can also turn it into an event space that you can rent out for daily. So there's different things that you can do with a housing market, a housing model with something like in Miami. But I just prefer arbitrage because of the cost of saving costs,
yeah.
to
Yeah, I
get
can only imagine what a house costs in Miami though. So that
somehow. Oh my God, they have condos here for 22,000 a month. Like
Uh-huh.
there
Ooh,
are places here, literally, like a 2 bedroom. If you wanted to do downtown, a 2 bedroom would easily cost you $6,000. easily.
People think New
Yeah.
York is crazy. Miami might be
Yeah,
crazy.
Miami, and it didn't happen until after the pandemic because a lot of people from New York and LA started to move to Miami. But even places like as little as like Memphis, Tennessee, there were you could at one point get a one bedroom for $400. That same place is $900 a month now. So I know they want to blame all the housing shortages on Airbnb hosts, but it's not us. It's just the damn economy. Like they're raising the prices, and we're the only ones that have a semi strategy that can possibly afford some of these rents.
Yeah.
So that's it is what it is. But I just would prefer that rent was cheaper.
Oh yeah.
Wouldn't we all?
Yeah,
Are
I
all of
know.
your properties in apartment complexes, or do you arbitrage any single family homes?
Yeah, I do have a single family home. I have one now. I'm actually in the process of getting two more. I do have one that I arbitrage now, and that's a pretty big property. It sleeps up to 16.
Wow.
But it's a newer property. I just got it. So we're just testing the waters with it, testing pricing and trying to see what works for the market because when something's new, you need to get your reviews, you need to sorry, your reviews and all of that good stuff. So we're just testing the waters. So far we've gotten a couple bookings, so we're just waiting.
Yeah.
We're patient
Yeah.
right now.
Well, I
And you
think I go ahead, Em.
sorry, I was just gonna say
Mhm.
you said you have properties in Houston as well. You
Mhm.
arbitrage in Houston. Is there a reason you chose that market? Do you have roots there, or is it just like a big city that people travel to?
You want the real answer?
Yes.
Just being stupid and went there and didn't know nobody and see everybody was going to Houston. It was like, I'm going to Houston too. It's
Oh.
like, and for black folks, Houston was the new Atlanta. So it was like, okay, let's go to Houston. It's an up and coming city, and I like Houston. Don't get me wrong. But what I don't like about Houston right now is it's very oversaturated and it's like free for all. There's no regulations there. So if you don't have, this is my experience only, that's a disclaimer. It seems like it needs to be luxury, and the competition is fierce when it comes to the design and the decor because everybody seems like they want Fontainebleau and SLS stay for Motel 6 price.
Yep.
Mm.
So you want beautiful furniture, you want beautiful decor, which you deserve it, but then you want it at $80 a night. You want it at $65 a night. You want it at so that's what
Yeah, I lived in Houston
crazy.
for 5 years. I went to the
Mm,
University of Houston, and it's definitely an up and coming area. There's a lot of new things that are going there,
yeah,
so that's kind of why it got oversaturated. As people were like, "Oh, Astroworld might be coming here," so people are going to
yeah.
be
But they
traveling
have a
in.
lot of work to do. It's still a
Oh
lot of
yeah,
work to be done in Houston. They're nowhere near where they need to be. The infrastructure is not like Dallas, which is like Dallas is we're Dallas. Like the structure is there, the football team. Houston is still trying to get together. Like even with having units literally down the street from the stadium. I was thinking, okay, we're down the street from the stadium. Like, oh, we're gonna football season's gonna come, and it was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You definitely have to be like top tier performer there to see like regular margins. It
Yeah,
just
you
there's not a
have
ton of
to.
motivation to be there.
Yeah, you have to. So, and that's the thing. This is going to be being transparent because remember, I told you guys like we talked about the fairy tales, but you also have to be very transparent about things that can go wrong. And the question is, how do you pivot and how do you transition when you're in a situation where you're in a market, you're hosting remotely, and you're not seeing the profit margins that you want to see. So now you have to say, okay, now we got to start doing midterm rentals. Like I would rather break even than make no money.
Right.
So
Mhm.
we start bringing down the prices. Like, let's just float the lease and let's just ride the wave until this turbulence gets where it needs to get, and then we'll figure it out then. So that's one thing. But Houston was all about up and coming. A lot of people were going there. The rental prices wasn't too high. They didn't really have any regulations. So let's do it.
Yeah.
And that's how the trigger got pulled.
Yeah. Well, if
Yeah.
you don't try it, you'll never know, right? But it could have really popped off if something
Yep.
happened. So you never know.
You
Yeah.
never know. But
I
I
mean,
do have, I'm not going to lie, I do have one property there in downtown that does amazing. And we rent it for $200 a night, but it's downtown.
yeah.
My other units that are medical district outside of downtown, they don't do as well. That's just what I noticed. But the downtown property stays booked.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, I had that kind of
Yeah.
same experience. I started 3 units in Dallas right as the pandemic hit. And I had
Mm-hmm.
three in Dallas and I had one in Fort Worth. And like all throughout the pandemic, all year long, my Fort Worth unit still outperformed Dallas. And I was so surprised by that because Dallas is the bigger, more popular city. And so after that year, like I did the same thing. I lowered it, I floated it, I paid rent, and then I moved everything to Fort Worth, and it's been in Fort Worth ever
Yeah.
since. I'm like,
Fort Worth is a great market. Fort Worth does really, really well. That's a great, great market. But yeah, that's the thing. It's like it's hit or miss. You never know how things are going to do, and then you anticipate so many good things about this property. You're excited. You busting your ass in Home Goods and Amazon and looking for stuff, and then it's like, oh damn, this unit is not doing what I wanted to do. And then when you have multiple units, oh, it's a headache because now you have to carry four leases, and that, that's the part that people don't talk about when it comes to short-term rentals. We always talk about the passive income part, but what about when you really have to put on your business cap and really maintain your business so that you won't lose your units? Like, how you got to get guests in here. So, and that's where you really have to think. And that's sometimes also where coaches come into play, and podcasts and things like that, because that's what's going to help you navigate through those hard times in this business. Because you're going to have a hard time. It's just a matter of when, not if.
It's not a set it up and forget it kind of business as much as people want it to
Oh,
be.
no.
Unless you're just handing somebody your money and they're running it for you, that is the only passive way to invest in
Yep.
short-term rentals.
Because I do turnkey as well. I have some investors where I do turnkey. And even with investors and doing the turnkey model, sometimes they don't even understand when a unit isn't performing right, or because they feel like, well, I gave my money, then it should be performing how it's supposed to, but it's still an investment. Investing is investing is investing. It does not matter what market you're in. I don't care if you're doing crypto, the regular stock market, traditional real estate, or short-term rentals. It's still an investment, and there's still risk involved with every single business. I don't care how successful somebody say they is. Somewhere down the line, they lost some money somewhere in this business. They just didn't tell you about it.
Right. They're not over glamorizing or over romanticizing their L's. They're definitely
Exactly. And I said I was going to start doing more of that on my channel. I was going to start talking more about the bullshit that comes along with the business, not to scare anybody, but to let them know, like, there's no such thing as being foul proof or nothing bad happening. Like, but I still, regardless of everything that goes on, I still love this bit. I still love short-term rentals. I still love everything about this business.
Same. And that's really why, like, when we started this podcast, we were like, we're starting it out with a horror story because people don't talk about them enough. Like, you need to know that there are going to be some off the wall scenarios that you are put in, and that is just part of it.
Yes.
Like, you are not going to avoid this. So if you're going to get into it and you're going to spend the money and you're going to spend the time, you might as well know on the front end.
Yep. And people don't like problems. That's why a lot of people don't make it, because they don't like the problems that come along with it. They don't want to deal with the horror stories. Like, how do you handle a leasing agent busting into a unit with your guest in there taking videos saying, hey, this is an Airbnb, I'm going to get you guys kicked out and I'm going to call the police? Like, how do you do that? Shit I've never dealt with in my life. So it's like, oh my God, this man just committed a crime that's kind of like burglary, but I don't know, what do we do here? So, it's just a lot to deal with. Or a guest gets to the unit and the cleaner never got there to clean, and now they already arrived. And now how do you deal with that? Like, there's so many different scenarios that you can deal with. So I tell people, get in the unit and starting it, that's nothing. Like, my 14-year-old can start an Airbnb unit. What can you do when it's time to run the business? Like, how are you going to handle these problems that's going to come? That's what you got to ask yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Well, tell people kind of about your mentorship or your course or your education component. Like, how do they find you, and what specifically, like, who is your ideal student?
Okay. Well, my ideal student is an action taker, somebody who's coachable, teachable, who is not going to lay down and be like, oh my God, this is so hard. Oh, I don't want to make 50 calls. Oh, I don't know how to, like, that's, you're not, because I'm very I'm an action taker. I don't like to do a lot of talking. Let's just get it done. So somebody just, and you have an open mind and you understand that even though this is real estate, there are so many different other businesses that you can learn from, and things that you can implement in your real day-to-day life that can help you succeed in this business. And you don't just only have to be a host. There's so many other things you can do, like, in this business, that you can still make money with. But if they want to find me, I'm literally starting over because somebody hacked my Instagram and my Facebook account.
I saw that. I saw on your Instagram you said that your old one got hacked. I was like, oh my gosh, that really
Yes,
sucks.
I had somebody posted child pornography on my Facebook page and shut me down, honey. They shut me down. They did it at 2 o'clock in the morning. And I didn't know that if your Facebook and your Instagram page is linked together, if one gets shut down, they both get shut down. I had no damn idea.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't have
me
known
either.
that either.
So if you have that, I would say unlink it, but a lot of people need it because they run ads through Facebook. But not me. I'm never doing that again. So it shut me down. I tried to pay every hacker I could think of to get it back, and they are to no avail. Whoever did it was good as hell because I can't get it.
Oh,
That's so
So
sad.
I'm starting out, but it's okay. It's not about. I always look at too. Also, it's not about the followers. It's just about am I putting out good content and am I starting a community that I'm really like enriching and empowering them to do what they want to do in this business. So I don't care if I have one person following me. If I can just give that one person my all, then my job is done. So it followers, and half these people have fake followers any damn way. So that don't even
True.
matter.
very true.
So, but pretty much they can find me at Charli Nikia with 2 A's. I do have a 5 day challenge that's coming up. I call it a challenge, not a class, because the goal is in those 5 days for you to at least get you a yes for a landlord. That's the goal. So that's why it's very action based. Every day there is homework. We have something to do. Whether you have to start an LLC, make phone calls, look at the areas that you want to start your short term rental business in. I even show you how to hire you a little mini team in the class. So there's a lot. I have an accountant come in and talk to you about tax deductions. I even have traditional real estate investors come in and talk about if you want to buy a property, the best way to buy it without having to come out so much money. And then also looking for properties that's below market value so that you can go in with equity, especially with this market that we're in right now in real estate. So there's a lot of different things that we teach. And I even have a realtor come in and say, maybe you should team up with a realtor to find your first property. So giving you I'm just giving you the blueprint. Now it's a lot of damn stuff in 5 days. Don't get me wrong. But the goal is for you to get your money's worth moment. So you come in, if you get one thing, you take that one thing and you run with it. If you do general admission, it's $297. If you do VIP, which you get an extra hour with me every single day, it's $497. But in that extra hour, you get to ask any questions. If you put a listing together, I'll review it for you. So we'll do an audit on your unit. So it's very action based. So if you're a beginner or you're somebody that's looking to get in, this would be a great blueprint because you can YouTube all you want. But if you're not applying the knowledge, it's all about the application. You can watch 1,000 damn YouTube videos, but you have to apply this stuff. So that's where my class is a challenge and not a class.
Yeah, it sounds
Well,
super well rounded.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
So,
all
and that's
honest,
why so many people are able to come as young as 18 and 19 and start because it's very action based. It's not about just talking. Forget my story. I don't even introduce myself. Like when people get this whole, hey, I'm Charli, let me show you how I got. I don't even do that shit. Like we cutting through the fat, baby. We getting right to the point. You don't care about me. I'm not gonna help you make money. I'm just here to show you, teach you what to do. So
yeah.
yeah.
Well, and people need that support. Like YouTube cannot provide you that support. You need someone that's like there, like calming you down when you're like, freaking
Yeah,
out
because you're
about
going
it too.
exactly. And I'm like, if you're going crazy over just finding the unit, imagine what's gonna happen when when you get it and they give you the yes. So a lot of people don't even want to do the work as simple as just going out and just soliciting the landlords because it's like I said, look at it like this. You're going on a date. You're dating. You're dating landlords to see who can you court, who can you get to marry you. So that's how you have to look at that part of when you're just trying to get started. Like, okay, I'm trying to get out. You get cute. You put your best voice on. You be your best self, and you go out here and you court these landlords until somebody say, you know what, I'll date you.
Right.
Yeah, you're creating
Yeah.
you're creating somewhat of a business partnership with these landlords. Even if you're not cutting
Yeah.
them in on your profits, they are a part of your business to a certain extent. So you really have to
Exactly.
start off that relationship well.
Yeah, started off on the right foot. So that's what I tell people. Definitely start on the right foot. Sometimes you can't do that with an apartment building unless you hit it off really good with the property manager. And then with her, or him, there's only so much they can do because they have corporations. Sometimes they have to go through corporate and all of that stuff. So you can build a much better rapport with the landlord. However, even with big apartment complexes, I have been able to, I don't want to like get someone within the office to kind of be like, hey, can you go check on this unit for me? I'll give you, do you need to make a couple extra bucks? Can you go? So I have been able to do that too.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Having boots on the ground is a game changer for sure in
You
those sort of
definitely need
complexes.
that. Yep. Especially if you're not in the city. Yeah, just get good with one person. If you offer somebody $100, you'll be surprised how far they can take you in life nowadays. Like
Amen.
Yeah.
exactly.
Creating relationships is such a huge part of this industry.
Yeah, it really is.
Huge, huge. And even collaborating with other hosts because so many people are in competition. They don't want to collab. Like, oh, this is me, this is my territory, and they only want to sell things. But you really need to collab and get with other hosts because, like, they may be able to tell you some things that you don't know or some problems that you're going through. They can help you with it, you know. Because I don't claim to know everything. I'm always looking to somebody's like, hey, let me run this by you. And what do you think about this scenario? How should I handle this? So it's very good to collab not only with landlords and leasing agents and cleaners, but also other hosts so you guys can help each other grow to the next
Yeah.
level.
I mean, this game is lonely, you know? It's like you're running your own business, and as an entrepreneur, it's not like you have like a ton of coworkers that you go see every day or like to bounce ideas off of or to like, get you to the next level. And so I totally agree. I do not like the competitive mindset at all. It's like collaborate over anything.
Exactly. I think a lot of entrepreneurs don't realize that entrepreneurial depression is a real thing and it is very lonely. And not even just about it being lonely, it's even the stress and the pressure of I don't want to fail.
Right.
I want to do well. So when things are going bad with your business and you don't have anybody to talk to about it, and I went through it, and I'm going through a little bit of it right now, to be honest. Where it's like, damn, okay, how do I navigate through this? What am I going to do to get through this particular problem? And there's no handbook for us. There is no manual. There is no like a SOP like you have in a corporate structure that says, okay, this is what happens when this happens. Like there's no SOP for this. So you have to have other peers to lean on in this business that you guys can, vent and war cry with each other and just push each other to the next level so you don't throw in the towel and it helps you keep going. So it's very important to
Yeah.
have a community and a tribe of other entrepreneurs that you can really just build and grow with.
Yeah, I always tell Emily, I'm like, I'll reach a point in a project where I'm just like, I'm army crawling through this right now. Like, I need you to drag my ass over the finish line to get through it because you experience those super big lows as an entrepreneur. Like, it will happen.
The beautiful thing is you guys have each other to lean on. And so, I don't have that. I had a business partner, it failed miserably. So, so the thing is, when you have somebody good that's next to you, hold on to them, hold on tight, because it is very hard to find people that are genuine and want to have a partnership where there's no big eyes and little me's and egos don't get in the way, and you can really like build each other up, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, we hear that a
Yeah.
lot about partnerships. A lot of people are like, it's really hard to find somebody who you work well with, but also to
Mhm.
like, or your business is going to be successful, all those things. Sarah and I feel like we got really lucky because we've known each other since third grade. So
Oh
it
wow,
was
y'all
a,
are besties for real.
yeah,
Y'all are really besties,
Yeah.
business besties and besties. Okay, good.
Yeah,
yeah.
it made it a lot easier to get into business together because we've just partnered in so many other ways previous to it. Like we've lived together for years, we played basketball together.
Oh wow.
We just
So yeah, this is beyond a yeah.
Yeah.
This is
it's family at this point.
We've
exactly.
already had all the hard conversations. So the business hard conversations are just another conversation for us.
Yeah, that's really good because a lot of partnerships, it's not that they knew each other or grew up with each other. You just get together, you are like minded, but then sometimes the ego starts to come into play. Like with some of my partnerships, some things that I noticed started to happen that my partner wanted to turn me into an employee. So it was like, oh well, you can do this and you can do that, and I'm like, well, we're supposed to do this together, like, or can we? So it kind of, but that's good. So if you guys mesh good together, that is amazing. That is wonderful because it's very rare out here nowadays
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
to
totally
find a good
agree.
partner. Yeah.
We're
absolutely.
thankful, to say the least.
Definitely.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
Charlie, this has been amazing getting to know you. For our listeners, I know you mentioned it again, but I want to make sure we plug it several times. So tell them where they can find you, how they can get in touch with you if this resonated with them, and then we will wrap up.
Okay, good. This has been fun too. So you can find me at charlienikia.com. That's my website. You can also go to at Charli Nikia with two A's. That's on Instagram and TikTok. I'm popping on TikTok a little bit anyway.
Yes, we love TikTok.
I know, and that's how you can pretty much get in contact with me. Like, and then I'm doing a few podcasts here and there. I'm trying to be a little bit more vocal. I said 2023 was going to be the year that I like put my face out there a little bit more and do more collabs, because I think that's very important. Of getting in front of other people's audiences and just giving my little heartfelt truth about how this business goes, and just helping some. Hopefully, my story can help somebody navigate a horror story on their
Yeah.
journey.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's so many influencers and coaches and mentors in this space, but at the end of the day, like, you have a community that's yours, that people are going to hear what everybody else has been saying, but they're actually going to hear it from you. So I think it's super important that everybody, like,
Okay.
talks and really connects with the people that are meant to connect with them. So
Yeah.
we will put all of your stuff below this video as well. For our listeners, you can find the links to everything, so you can find her even easier below this
Yeah.
video. And then Emily, do you want to plug all of our stuff as well?
Yes, Sarah and I are at the KarWells, and our website is thekarwells.space. We rebranded that pretty recently, so that's a new one for you
Yep.
guys to look for. But yeah, if you guys
I'm
have
actually on your website right now.
oh,
Oh, how's
I'm
it
on it
look?
now. It looks really good.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
There's been changes over the past few years. We've definitely updated it a bunch.
Yeah. Looks good. Looks really
Thank you.
good.
Well,
Thank
yeah,
you.
if you
Well,
guys are looking for motivation, inspiration, anything like that, please go check Charli out. Her videos are very inspirational and she has a lot of knowledge to give. But thank you guys all for listening so much. Thanks again, Charli, for coming on, and we will catch you guys next time. Bye.
bye.